We're an ISO 13485 certified company, and we're developing new generation corneal implants for the minimally invasive treatment of blindness and vision correction. So what is the cornea? The cornea is the frontmost part of the eye, and it's a clear dome, and it serves as the most powerful focusing lens in the eye. If you have clouding of the cornea, you have cornea blindness, and it's on the cornea that all vision correction procedures are performed currently. For example, LASIK will correct vision by reshaping the cornea and removing tissue. So Keramed has developed corneal implants for micro-incision corneal surgery that has significant advantages compared to what's currently being done. The first product is called the Keramed1 artificial cornea, and this is a picture of the device. So just to give you background on the problem, there's about 10 million people worldwide that are blind in both eyes from cornea blindness, and yet only about 100,000 people are treated annually because that's about the number of corneal transplants that can be done, because there's a huge deficit in the numbers of donor corneas that are available. So having an artificial cornea to meet that need would be very desirable. The projected revenue on an annual basis is roughly $300 million for this type of device. And this would be in the major markets such as the United States, Europe, Japan, and the Pacific Rim. The overall market would actually be much larger than that. We've also developed a vision correction implant, which can be looked at as an alternative to LASIK, not a substitute for LASIK, but something that I think many people would find to be more desirable. This is a picture of a prototype. Vision correction, of course, is an absolutely huge market. Approximately 2 billion people in the world need to have some form of vision correction. And if you could even just capture a small percentage of the market, it would be a very high revenue. So the idea behind these implants is that a microincision equals faster recovery and safer surgery. And this is something that's basically been found with every single type of surgical technique. Once upon a time, when people needed to get a gallbladder out, they would need a 12-inch incision, and they'd basically spend a month at home not being able to walk. But today, somebody with gallbladder surgery can be about their business, within a few days. So we're taking that principle of minimally invasive surgery and applying it to the cornea. So for example, a corneal transplant is a 25 millimeter circumferential incision that is full thickness. LASIK is a similar size incision. It's actually a 22 millimeter incision, but it's a partial thickness incision. And in the case of the Keramed implants, the pocket that's made is 8 millimeter in diameter, but actually the incision is just here. So the total pocket is here, but there's a very small incision, and basically these implants are just slid into the pocket, and that really accelerates the healing for the patient. So these implants have a number of competitive advantages. It's less invasive than corneal transplants or LASIK. The recovery is in days instead of months. There's much less of a fear factor because these procedures are potentially reversible, especially in the case of the vision correction implant. So it's reversible and adjustable, which cannot be said of LASIK. And I'm a LASIK surgeon, so I know that this is actually the number one objection that patients have in terms of not having LASIK. And also the low cost of manufacturing and limitless supply of these basically plastic implants equals a very high profit margin. In terms of the market strategy, first, we'd like to commercialize this outside the United States through distributors and strategic partners. We already have the involvement of some key opinion leaders. And the way that ophthalmologists learn about new products is they go to these eye surgery trade shows that we've already been presenting at. We also would advertise in surgery newspapers and scientific journals. And recently, we actually had a nice full-page article on our product in Ocular Surgery News. You can get a copy of that by stopping by our little station in the next room. And we would plan on U.S. commercialization after FDA clearance in 2011. So in 2011, we plan to start the sales of the Keramed outside the United States. We already have a couple of signed distributor agreements. We plan to commence a clinical trial in 2012, and we've received NIH funding to conduct the study. that should allow FDA clearance of the artificial cornea. In 2012, we would plan for European approval of the Keramed vision correction implant, and in 2013, plan for Keramed FDA clearance. And also in 2013, actually sales of the Keramed in the United States. And in 2014, sales of the Keramed outside the United States. So this would be the projection of the annual revenues for the artificial cornea after US FDA clearance. Again, the major markets, North America, Europe, and the Pacific Rim are shown in these various graphs here. But with the expectation that these three markets, we could get over 300 million. Okay.
You can maybe wrap it up, EJ.
Sure. We'll quickly wrap it up. Just with funding, we feel that we can achieve quick approval in Europe and also actually get the CE mark of the Keramed.
Right.
Okay. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks, EJ. Good panel.
So when you insert this implant through the 3.5 millimeter thing, does it migrate? Does it move around in that pocket, or does it stay in the one place, or do you have to stitch it down? What happens?
Right. That's what's really neat is that these devices are designed to be self-retaining. So when you have an incision that is only about 3 millimeters, you don't necessarily have to suture it, or at most one suture. And these implants, they don't move, because within the tight space of the pocket, once you put the implant in, it doesn't move. For our first human implantations with the artificial cornea, we did suture in the devices just to be more conservative, but the most recent implantations have not required any suturing at all, so it's a truly self-retaining device.
And they're tolerated by the body?
They seem to be well tolerated, and we have data out to 1 year in patients now that show that it's well tolerated for the artificial cornea.
And what are the main indications for the procedure?
Well, for the Keramed artificial cornea, the main indication would be cornea blindness, which again affects at least 10 million people in both eyes, worldwide. And if you count all the single eye cases, probably about 50 million people worldwide. Vision correction obviously is different. Yeah.
Okay. And what's proprietary here? What's the? You have 10.
The implant designs are proprietary.
What?
The implant designs are proprietary.
Design.
Right.
And the material?
The materials currently, we have a commercial source for it. Although we also, we're working on our own separate proprietary materials also.
And also, can you, on the other product, why is it a PMA device?
Which one?
Why is it the PMA device, the Keramed?
Oh, so the Keramed is a device for vision correction. Yeah. So pretty much all of the vision correction type of procedures, like for essentially cosmetic indication, are looked at as PMAs by the FDA. So it's a more involved process. There is a clear pathway for a 510K for the artificial cornea, which is one of the reasons why, as a small company, we decided to choose the faster path first so that we could get some revenues.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Does it also treat people who have cataracts, for example?
The cataract is a different problem. It's deeper inside the eye. So this would be specific for people that have cornea blindness.
Cornea blindness.
EJ, the reimbursement for Keramed right now, or something along those lines, what is it right now?
Sure.